Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I'm your host, Rabina Rastavan, aka the Realist Astrologer. And tonight, in honor of Scorpio season, I'm going to get into Eve's natal chart and numerology with respect to her marriage to Maximillion Cooper. Now, Maximillion Cooper is this billionaire CEO who founded this motor car racing company called Gumball 3000. And him and Eve, they got married in 2014, June 13th to be precise. So, let's get into Eve's natal chart and numerology. So, Eve is a Scorpio. She was born November 10th, 1978, and she has a stellium in Scorpio, so that makes her a hardcore Scorpio in my opinion. So she has her Sun, Uranus, and Venus in Scorpio, and they're all next to each other. She also has a stellium in Sagittarius. She has her Mercury, Mars, and Neptune in Sagittarius. So that deals with her being attracted to that which is foreign, international. So Maximilian is a Brit. So that speaks to that Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius deals with long range travel, it deals with foreign territories, it deals with that which is exotic, that which is different. It also deals with sports. So there's that's where you can tie in the sports car theme with Maximilian. Now, the sun in a woman's chart can deal with the type of husband that she attracts. So with her sun conjunct Uranus, she's prone to attract a husband that's very independent, and he is an entrepreneur, very willful. Basically, he's a law unto himself with sun conjunct Uranus. And sun conjunct Uranus on the negative end can deal with someone who can be tyrannical and who is uncompromising when it comes to them asserting their will and asserting their independence. So you have to be kind of careful if you got sun conjunct Uranus as a woman and you're looking for a husband, because you are prone to attract those type of husbands that are very domineering, very willful, and they may even behave as if they're single while they're married. Now she has Venus conjunct Uranus, which is a double whammy because Venus deals with marriage. It also deals with the type of partner you attract and the type of relationship that you're prone to enter into. So with Venus conjunct Uranus and Scorpio, that could be a very tumultuous relationship. It could be a relationship that has a severe imbalance of where one party is controlling the other, where one party is very domineering, where there may be some underhanded activity going on. However, with Eve having all of that Scorpio energy, she's prone to actually be attracted to men who are very controlling and who are very domineering, and she might actually get off on that. Actually, when I look at her sexual profile, it looks like she is sort of, into the freaky stuff. Could even be like the bondage and domination. She has her Venus in Scorpio, so Venus can deal with a woman's sexuality as well as Mars in the chart. And with her Venus in Scorpio, it's retrograde, so that can deal with, having not just alternative sexual desires, but ulterior motives in terms of your relationship. She has Venus in parallel to the asteroid Arachne, and that can deal with getting caught up in a web of deceit or emotional turmoil, or it could even be abuse, especially because it's in the sign of Scorpio, her Venus. Now, Arachne can also deal with, in a more literal sense, getting tied up. So just looking at her chart, she looks like she's the type that might like to get tied up, might like it really rough, might like to be really submissive where, the guy is taking the, domineering role. Now she did have a relationship with Stevie J back in the day. And Stevie J is known to be very sleazy. He's a Scorpio himself. And like I said, Scorpio has this need to dominate and control. So in that relationship, I'm pretty sure it was Stevie J doing the controlling, and Stevie J is known to be a stone cold freak too, so I'm sure that they were getting down and dirty in the bedroom. And also Scorpio has the tendency to play the role of the Swengali. Swengali is basically someone who's in a position of power, and they take you under their wing as a protege, or they might, see a lot of potential in you, and then they have these enticements to reel you in, and then once they have you under their wing, they basically dominate you. They might become abusive. Basically, they want to mold you and shape you into what they envision you to be. But often in that, like I said, comes abuse, or it just might be where, you're in a virtual prison. Now, speaking of virtual prison, Eve's South Node, which deals with past life tendencies that she has brought over into this lifetime that she needs to try to decrease, is in Pisces, and Pisces is the sign of imprisonment. Pisces is also a sign that wants to be taken care of. So that's kind of like how I see her in this marriage, where she kind of wants to be taken care of. Scorpio as well, because Scorpio deals with other people's money. And a lot of times women derive power, Scorpio women, by getting with men who have a lot of money. So couple that with that South Node in Pisces, she's prone to get into a relationship where she might gain a lot financially, but it might be a virtual prison. So it might be her own self undoing, which is Pisces. Um, Moving along, she also has Venus in square to Jupiter. Venus in square to Jupiter can deal with getting into a marriage or a relationship where there's a lot to gain financially, but there's too much of a trade-off, where you might have to compromise some of your freedom, or you might have to compromise some of your integrity, or some of your morals and ethics. So Venus combined with Jupiter can result in a lot of money, but since it's a square, that's a challenging aspect. It can denote some type of trade-off or some type of imbalance or some type of conflict that's going on in the process of having that come up as a result of being married. It also deals with her getting with someone who is of a different nationality as well, because Jupiter is about different nationalities. It's about foreign territories. It's about that which is exotic, that which is different. So yeah. Now, about her numerology, she is a 10 in terms of her birth number. She's born on the 10th. But her life path number is also a 10. Now, the number 10 tends to have major gains through their associations with others. So, especially a woman that's a 10, oftentimes she will have a major come up or advancement as a result of getting married. And that's exactly what happened with Eve. So being as though her birth number is a 10 and her life path number is a 10, she really is living according to her destiny by getting with this man that has a lot of money. However, the downside of the number 10 is, in the process of you riding the coattails of others and having that big come up, you're also subject to a downfall at the hands of others, because your destiny is largely not in your hands, it's in the hands of others with the number 10. The number 10 also breaks down a 1, and that can deal with children, and she has become a stepmother to his 4 children. So that's part of her life path as well. But like I said, the number 10 can be tricky because it's a number of destiny, but oftentimes your destiny is not in your own hands, because you are relying upon others to forge that path for you, or to basically give you a ride. Also, what else did I write about her? So I mentioned about her retrograde Venus, and that can deal with having ulterior motives in a relationship, and also not being, totally upfront. And also Venus retrograde can be where you often get yourself trapped in a relationship because you can't see clearly going into it, because you have this internal conflict going on. So I did a little brief tarot reading regarding Eve's relationship. Now, I had recorded a video about this earlier, but I didn't like the way it turned out. And in the first video I did, I actually did the reading, while I was recording it. So I already have the cards laid out. But the first card deals with her original intent upon getting married to Maximillion. And it's the Six of Wands card. Sorry if it's hard to see. There it is. Now, the Six of Wands card corresponds to Jupiter and Leo. And Leo can deal with love and romance. However, it can also deal with investment. And when I see Six of Wands pertaining to love and marriage, I really don't see so much of love, but more so investment, more so as a come up, more so as she's winning, or she's in a position where she's on top. Because as you can see, he's riding on top of a horse. So he's on top. So with that Six of Wands, I really don't see it so much as love, but more so as, this is an investment. But that Six of Wands is also a card where you're having fun too. So I am seeing her enjoying herself, having a lot of fun in this. Now, the second card I pulled was about where this relationship is headed, and I took it out to the 5 years in the future. So I said, where is this relationship going to be? Where is this marriage going to be 5 years from now? Are they going to be headed for divorce? Are they going to be still together? Are they going to be in love? Is it going to be harmony? So the card I got was the Devil card. And that's very telling in this case because, like I said, the Devil, Eve is prone to get into a relationship with a guy that's very controlling and where it's almost like she's in a virtual prison. And the Devil card can deal with bondage. It could deal with imprisonment. It could deal with being caught up. It could deal with being in a catch-22 situation where there's this trade-off where, you got a lot of money because the Devil card can deal with having a lot of money because it's a card of enticement. So, and the Devil card is one of materialism. Its corresponding astrological configuration is Capricorn. So I talked about Capricorn. I just did my Dark Side of Capricorn female video where I talked about the opportunism and being very materialistic. So that Devil card can deal with you getting caught up as a result of being materialistic and you getting more than what you bargained for. So 5 years from now, they may not necessarily be going through a divorce, but Eve might really be feeling like she's caught up, like she's trapped, like she's gotten more than what she bargained for, and basically like the money's not even worth it after a while. So time will tell, we'll see, but like I said, it really doesn't look good with that Devil card, and it does confirm my suspicions about Eve basically being in this for a come up. And while it does seem like she has some compatibility with him, and it does seem like she, is attracted to him in some respects, namely because, he's this free-spirited, very independent, basically a law unto himself type of guy. So she's attracted to that, and he's very powerful. So her being a Scorpio female, she's attracted to that power. But, Scorpio can get caught up. Scorpio is a very strong sign, but Scorpio could get caught up too in power plays and manipulation. So that's my take on Eve's relationship, her marriage with Maximillion. Peace and blessings.